We are here, episode 20 of the Wrestling Travel Podcast, live on Facebook. My name is Danny, and I'm, of course, joined this week, as always, by my colleague and host of the Lockdown Sessions, Justin Clapper. We've also got two special guests. Two special guests with us, of course. We've got SP3 from True Heel Heat and the Maddog, Mike Angus, legendary Northwest ring announcer here in the UK. But I'll start with you first. Maddog, how have you been getting on this week?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant, mate. Good to see you guys again. I hope everyone's well.
Yeah, absolutely. You're looking very, very dapper today, Maddog, I must say.
That's it. Well, it's the 20th episode, so I said, Mr. Clapper said to me I should have my top hat and tails on today, but I threw the bow tie and the jacket on for you, just especially for today. So big celebration. Congratulations on reaching 20 episodes, guys. And I know everyone's enjoying it. So, yeah, looking forward to today and seeing how everyone's been and catching up on the world of wrestling. So, excellent.
Fantastic stuff. At least you're not in your boxer shorts like Stuie might be right now.
I dread to think where he is. If he's not here, he could be anywhere. So,
yeah, hopefully we'll get Stuie involved very soon indeed. But SP3, how are things for you over there in New York?
Doing well over here, a little bit cold, but doing well nonetheless. Very happy to be joining you guys on your 20th episode. Congratulations on making this far in the podcast world. It's a tough world to deal with, so I appreciate you guys and all the work that you do in having a very enjoyable podcast that talks about everything going on in the wrestling world. Danny, you do a great job being the host. Justin has his opinions. Nah, I'm just kidding with you. Justin is always the funniest person in the room, whatever room he's in, and he always makes it fun every single week. So I'm glad to be joining you guys again.
No, that's great to hear. And of course, as always, thank you for joining us, SP3. You've been a part of this journey from the very start. So we're very happy to always have you on. Indeed. And Justin, Wisconsin's favorite son, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing good. Very kind words. If I'm the funniest guy in the room, what does that make Stuie Palmer? Because that dude cracks me up all the time. So.
He is the most energy in the room, the most energetic, the most passionate. He's got a lot of other things, but when it comes to humor, you bring it every single week.
Well, hopefully now I got to live up to that moniker. So I'm very happy to be here. Both of you are a huge part in us reaching 20 episodes. So I know we are slowly building. I hope the fans interact. One of the biggest things I can say about our podcast specifically is if you are out there in the world, and we live in some very serious times right now. People have a lot on their mind. Sometimes you lay down in bed at night and you can't sleep. We are actually a very great cure for insomnia. So please put us on when you go to bed. Maybe, hopefully, I don't know what to say. But, yeah, I love you guys. I love being here. We got a lot of special guests that are going to be coming in and coming out today. I have reached out to as many – well, not as many as I could. I should have started earlier. But we got some guests today I'm pretty excited about.
Hey, Justin, Tiny is in the messages.
Tiny.
Looking out for you.
I can't. What does he say? I can't read it.
Tiny.
Says, I'm here, Justin Clapper.
Yes. So as many of you know, Tiny had his event this last Saturday, Wrestling for a Cause, in West Bend, Wisconsin. I challenged Tiny because that's what I do, and put Tiny's career on the line. I'll give the devil his due. I brought in the Motor City Mauler. I believe the Mauler got his shoulder up, but it was a career versus career match. If Tiny won, he got 2 minutes in the ring with me. Tiny won. Like I said, the Mauler's up, and he got his 2 minutes. And, gentlemen, I'm happy to say he ruffled the collar of my shirt, but I was able to sneak away. The 2 minutes ended. So hopefully I'll see Tiny down the road. But man, all seriousness, everything, what he put on a great event, Mayhem for Mason 2 for charity. A lot of fans there, a lot of great wrestlers, some of them who will be guests on our show today. So honestly, everything aside, Tiny Love put on a tremendous event, raised a lot of money for a very deserving family. And I'm willing to put everything aside right now live for these couple hours and give the devil his due. So welcome, Tiny.
Awesome, though. It's great to hear that that event went well indeed. But for everybody that is watching right now and interacting with this podcast, we do want to get your feedback. So we've got a question that all of our guests will be answering throughout the podcast there. But what would be your all-time 5 members of your Survivor Series team? So that can be from way back when up until now. Choose who you want and put it in the comments indeed, and we'll read some of those out for you. So that's your 5 members of the Survivor Series team of your choosing there of all time. Some quick shout outs. Max Green, hey all, is Max, we'd love to get your all-time 5 members of your Survivor Series team there. We also got Kyle Rogers saying hello to the team as well. We'd also love to hear yours as well. But just diving into the wrestling action, of course, last night it was announced that Jon Moxley and Renee Paquette, I hope I pronounced that right, will be having a baby in the near future. So congratulations from all of us here at Wrestling Travel on that great announcement, which was actually included in Jon Moxley's promo last night on AEW. Was a quite an interesting way to announce it indeed there, but a huge congratulations indeed. But I want to start with a controversial topic for everybody. And that is the news that came out recently about the releasing of Zelina Vega from WWE. Of course, we saw the news announced a few days ago, of course, there with that, but 10 minutes after that tweet was announced, we saw the tweet from Zelina Vega about supporting unionization. Obviously, it came to a head that people thought that was obviously... Oh, no, sorry, I've got my timeline wrong there. She tweeted that first, didn't she?
Yeah.
Then it came that she was released, and obviously everyone's assumptions were assuming that was because of that tweet. Indeed. But I want to get your guys' thoughts. Justin, what is your take on that scenario there that happened with Zelina obviously losing her job with WWE?
Well, the thing is the timeline is what everybody really had messed up from what I understand. Even we did, I think, on Wrestling Travel. It was like we thought she tweeted this and then this happened. Obviously, stuff happened during the day as the news kind of broke it. I know you guys probably will be able to explain this better. What I don't understand is I believe it was an OnlyFans account that was apparently the issue. And SB3, I know that you've probably talked a ton with your stuff with Alex McCarthy on it. All I know is now, didn't it come out last night? I read that Adam Cole, Dakota Kai, some of these other people still are running their Twitch stuff. So it leads me to believe that it was due to an OnlyFans account. And I think she was very smart because if I have the timeline correct, she knew she was being made an example of, and then kind of timed out that tweet about unionization, which is something that needs to be talked about. I know in the wrestling business, at least discussed and figured out. If you're going to be an independent contractor, how much, we're talking about the WWE actually saying that they own your not just your work names, but your shoot names. It's been a big mess that we've been reading about lately, but I'm going to pass it on to SP3 because I'm sure you might have this timeline of how this happened down more than we have it right now.
Well, basically, from what I understand, is that Vince McMahon gave the main roster talent a deadline for them to end their Twitch accounts, because WWE wants to take over those accounts and make profit off of, you know, the likeness and these people using their wrestling, their WWE names on Twitch. They want some profit out of that through the company. They've even gone as far as hiring like a social media person, a Twitch moderator, to kind of dictate that. That's why people on NXT like Adam Cole, Dakota Kai are able to continue their Twitch, while Zelina Vega wasn't supposed to. But she continued on with her Twitch account past where the edict was sent down on October 30th. That was like the first kind of straw, and then the final straw was her opening a OnlyFans account, which was a breach of contract, and that's why they released her. The release was known to her as earlier this month, really, after she went past the deadline, and that's why she knew when it was going to be announced that she was going to be released. That's why 10 minutes before it was actually announced, she sent out the tweet, "I support unionization." So it was very well timed on her account. I think that people need to realize that these releases are not done like the minute before they're put on Twitter. They're probably known weeks in advance, a couple of days at least in advance before it's announced to the public. But that's how she was able to tweet that out before the announcement was made. I mean, this whole third party thing has I've kind of just been on the side of the superstars, because, you know, with live events not going on, they're losing out on a big chunk of their profit, their revenue that they are going to making through their contract. A lot of these contracts involve them making something off of the live events, which are non-existent anymore. So that's why people like even top stars like AJ Styles have started Twitch accounts and try to make revenue off of there. So by stopping their ability to do that, I think it's really not a good move, and it's putting a lot of eyes on WWE that they don't want on them, like Andrew Yang, the Democratic presidential candidate, who's really been a very kind of very consistent with his criticism of WWE involving their whole third-party ban, and the fact that they view their employees as independent contractors. They shouldn't be trying to take away any type of revenue that they make outside of the company if they are independent contractors. You either make them employees and then you're able to kind of dictate those type of things. But if they're still going to be independent contractors, then this is where the lines are muddy, and why people are talking about unionization in the wrestling business. As far as having a union in the wrestling business, I'm kind of on the fence on that accord, because I do understand that it would hurt a lot of things that are outside of companies like WWE and AEW, for like wrestling schools and stuff like that. It would totally shut down all of that stuff. Everybody would have to be under one type of union. So I don't think that the people that are begging for unionization understand that. I understand unionization in the WWE because they're the one with the problem, and the problem that's going on in WWE is not an industry-wide problem. It's an isolated thing with WWE, but it is going to become a bigger thing if it becomes like a heavy debatable topic. And now you got SAG and ATRA showing their support to Zelina Vega. They want to make wrestling under like the media and make it another form of media that they can have underneath them and actually represent wrestlers in unionization. So this becomes a very widespread topic that is probably going to be talked about for months and months to come. And I really feel like Zelina Vega is just the first domino in what's going to be a very big topic in professional wrestling for the next couple of months.
Obviously, it's going to go to Maddog next, but just I have something to say based on that after Maddog has his say. Go ahead, Maddog.
Obviously, there's a lot of the people there. It was mentioned that Zelina Vega was actually making more money from outside of WWE activities than her actual contract at the moment, which is that's not right, obviously, and it needs addressing. And just to take it from a different perspective as well, I think Zelina Vega's a great talent, great wrestler, and also has been brilliant for WWE this year as well. During the time when there's been no fans, she's been one of the most entertaining superstars. Certainly as a manager of Andrade and Garza, she was. I thought she was doing brilliant this year. It was the most entertaining she's been on TV, and I thought she was doing a very good job. So it's disappointing, in that aspect that they'd built her up so much, and then and I know maybe the last couple of weeks she took a bit of a loss on SmackDown. I'm assuming she knew she was going to be losing her contract then, but even so, it's disappointing for the fans who are invested in somebody, and then suddenly they're just taken away for this reason. Which a lot of people are watching it for the wrestling aspect of things, and not necessarily going to understand all this situation that's going on outside the ring, and it's going to be disappointing for them. So I think obviously she's got a bright career wherever she ends up, and at the moment there are other companies who are allowing people to, and even encouraging them to go on the Twitch and everything and get more eyes on the product. I think we discussed it briefly a few weeks ago, and all of us sort of said it can be a good thing for the company getting more eyes on the product from it, but as well, if they think they can monetize it in any way, they are gonna it's going to be them who are going to make the profit from it rather than and then they can divvy out the money share, I suppose. But so that's my thoughts on it. Justin, you were about to add something in. Go for it, mate.
Well, it becomes a much bigger issue when I realize, talking with SP3, going back to earlier in the summer, the speaking out movement. When you're talking about wrestling schools and stuff closed down, do I want to jump into the unionization pool? I don't. But like I said, we've got a lot of people that say, hey, I was trained by Joe Schmo down the road. So I'm going to start, like in Wisconsin, I can start a promotion tomorrow without having any experience, anything. And I could tell a bunch of kids, hey, I'll train you. I'll train you for $500. But that's I paid a lot more than that for my training back in the day, and training was very difficult to come by. So I do think that we cannot let the speaking out movement go. A lot of people just want to be done with it, but we need to protect the business. I've said it the first time I said that was on my first True Heel Heat podcast. It used to be protect the business. We need to not let the fans know kind of what's going on. We don't need the wink, wink. Then McMahon kind of let everything go. But we need to protect the business. We need to respect the business. Do I think we need to go on to unionization? Maybe. But you're right. It's going to put some people out that are legitimately working hard. But it would hopefully get rid of these carny promoters and wrestlers, because if I'm green and I want to get in to wrestling, I'm 18, 19. I've been there. I'll do it. Hey, yeah, whatever you want. You can train me. Great. You can train me for $300. Fantastic. But now we got the bullying. We got a lot of sexual harassment stuff. So it's a very slippery slope. I know, but I just wanted to get in there that even though that speaking out movement was like, okay, it's that thing. Like everything, you don't want to hear about it, but it's actually going on. We need to be aware of it. We need to keep being aware of it. We need to not let shit like that happen. Just like look at everything going on in the world today. There's a lot of things going on that you're like, man, I'm sick of hearing about this on the news. But you know what? We can't stop ignoring stuff like that. We need to keep it in the forefront. So to sum that all up, which is a lot to say, it's just something we've got to keep our eyes on. And I know some people, just like everything, some people are taking that speaking out movement as an opportunity to complain about some other things that maybe aren't to the forefront. Just like I don't want to be controversial here. I don't want to be, but there's a lot of movements and stuff going on that people will take out of context and into their own hands. But I do believe we need to look at that, and people need to keep looking at that and figure out a way to make this sport, and yes, I said sport, safer, more equal, everything we can to support everything else without ruining it. I probably said a lot that might have pissed some people off watching, but hopefully, do I kind of make sense, fellas?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. It's got to be safe, and things like this, we just can't let it happen again, to be honest. So, yeah, I know a lot of stuff's being done over here in the UK at the moment. With the government have stepped in and are looking at it as well now. And all the promotions I work with are all code of conduct and just looking back to basics at the very just the safety of the fans and the talent, and trying to make things run as well as possible. Big shout out as well. A couple of people just popped up on the chat there. Hi to the guys in Italy who are saying hello, and also WrestleMerch Central just popped into the chat there as well. So big hello to them guys as well.
And I don't want to get lost on this again, but maybe unionization, it's a bigger conversation to have some other time. But when you're looking at a company like WWE or AEW on those higher levels, then maybe that unionization does fit in. So I didn't want to turn it all back into speaking out, but if we go unionization across the board, some very, very prominent independent promotions might not be able to survive something like that. So it's a huge conversation.
Yeah, like to kind of answer one of the comments I see that, they unionize doesn't mean those in the indies have to join. No, you don't have to join, but you're still going to be affected. Like it doesn't matter if you are part of the union or not. It's going to have an effect across the board. But to kind of talk about Selena's situation in isolation, I think it took a lot of courage for her to make that choice, to choose her social media, her platform, and her way to express herself to the fans, and chose that over, what was her dream of being in the WWE. It was the dream of her family. She kind of talked about that on her live stream, and she got so much support. She got 2,700 gift subs on her Twitch live stream on Friday right after the release. So she has a bunch of support, and it's come out in recent reports that she was making more money off her social media, the Twitch, the Cameo, and even our OnlyFans than she was from her WWE contract. And it's kind of putting an eye on many different things, because now there's also been reports that people who have contracts prior to January 2019 and the introduction of AEW are making a lot less money than those that have signed new deals since AEW has come into effect. And I kind of talked about this on Wrestling Daily with Alex McCarthy a few weeks ago. We did a debate talking about the Shield versus the Elite and who's the more influential stable in wrestling. And I said it's the Elite by a country mile, because they had an effect that spans across the wrestling world in how these wrestlers are getting paid. Because if it wasn't for them and the creation of AEW, some of these wrestlers would not have the leverage that they do. And Selena, I don't think that she would. I'm not going to say that she wouldn't have the same courage to make this decision, but with making this decision, she wouldn't have as many options as she does now post WWE career than she does with an AEW in existence. So it has an effect across the board, but she deserves a lot of credit. She's so talented, one of the best talkers that WWE had. And I don't think they're going to really realize what they lost until months down the road, until she has an effect on a different promotion, whether that's Impact Wrestling, ROH, or AEW. I don't know where she's going to go, but where she goes next, they're going to benefit from the talent that she has.
Still a 90-day no-compete, correct?
Yeah, she's not going to be able to sign with another promotion until mid-February. But like I said before, whatever promotion gets her, they have such a talented young lady. She wasn't really even able to show her wrestling skills until like very recently. But as far as like talking, she's so talented a talker, and the way she really established herself as a manager in a era in WWE where the manager is basically extinct. It's very, she deserves a lot of credit for the work that she did from NXT to the main roster.
Danny, I know you're itching to move on and do something, but I just want to, and you could bring somebody else in if you want, but I just want to ask you guys, how does this affect Aleister Black then? Because we recently heard he wanted to move down to NXT. That was denied. We've got Rusev / Miro in the AEW. We got Lana being put through a table 1,700 times. Is that some type of connection there? I mean, I guess everything can be looked at like a conspiracy theory right now. But what are your thoughts on obviously Aleister Black?
Puts him in a difficult situation. I think being left and not being such a big thing, but hopefully it'd be absolutely professional, and hopefully WWE will be as well, and you'll get to see him shine still like he deserves, because he's a great talent, and he's it shouldn't be held against him, really, a situation like that. However, it could be, but we'll soon find out about that.
I mean, what's kind of come into reality in 2020 is the death nail for most talents in WWE is when reports say that Vince is high on you. Because there was reports that Vince was high on Zelina Vega. She's not with the company anymore. There was reports that he was high on Bianca Belair. We didn't see Bianca Belair on TV for months. So they said there was reports that they were high on Peyton Royce. She breaks up from the Iconics. You think she's going to get a singles push, but she's right back into a tag team with Lacey Evans. And they were high on Aleister Black, and we really haven't seen him really have a memorable feud on the main roster since getting called up last year. So I'm just hoping that they see the talent in Aleister Black, because he's so talented in the ring. He had a very unique character in NXT, and he showed so much potential and talent off of WWE before he even came into NXT. He deserves, some type of success, whether it's on the main roster or being called back to NXT. I think that anyone that goes back to NXT after being on the main roster, I feel like that's a lateral move, or like it's a step back, in my opinion, unless you're a Finn Balor who's still getting paid main roster money to be on NXT. So it's different. I don't know, your guys' opinion, but I just think that if you're going back to NXT and you haven't signed a new deal, then you're kind of setting yourself up to make less money than you would on the main roster. And I think it's all about getting paid that money if you're in the WWE. And to answer the question, would she have as many followers if she was never in WWE? Probably not. But she is making more money outside of her WWE contract by being on social media. So regardless of how she got her social media following, if she's making more money off of WWE than on WWE, then to each his own. She deserves that success if she's able to reach that many people and that many people support her.
Yeah, no, thank you, SP3 there, of course, for your insight into the whole situation there. And as you mentioned, it will certainly have a ripple effect. I'm sure we'll certainly see more things happening over the next few weeks and months. But it looks like we've got our first special guest ready to join us. Justin, would you be so kind to introduce the first guest?
Yes, I'm going to say this. If you see me looking down, I'm trying to make some stuff kind of happen with some guests. So, Danny, if you could check your WhatsApp from time to time, I've got somebody else there for you. But our first guest comes to you guys live. This is a Sabotage, who is a part of a tag team with Collateral Damage with our good friend, the Renegade Robbie J. Sabotage has a lockdown session with me that's going to be premiering next week. Sabotage was trained by Harley Race, also at the Black and Brave camp with Seth Rollins. Sabotage is 20 years old, 20 years young, and thanks for joining us here live on the pod. I know you're skipping out of work a little bit, so congratulations. We're happy we could get you out.
Yeah, no, I gotta take my break off early, right? So, but thanks for having me, guys. It's my pleasure.
No, we're excited.
Good to see you, Sabotage.
Good seeing you.
Hey, good to see you guys. Good to talk. I'm excited.
Excellent. And I was just going to say, guys, as well, Stuie, another person still in work. Stuie said he's sweating his bollocks off in work over here in the UK still. So excellent news there.
Awesome. But the next question, well, the next sort of topic we want to move on to, and it's one that Justin said that you, Sabotage, would love to discuss, and that is The Undertaker, his 30-year celebration this Sunday at Survivor Series. I saw the other day that Kurt Angle was scheduled to appear for that, so there's going to be some sort of big celebration there indeed. But for yourself, Sabotage, obviously you're a big Undertaker fan. What's your sort of thoughts and feelings heading into this celebration on Sunday?
Oh man, I think it's gonna be great. I was just watching the Brothers of Destruction documentary they had that came out recently on the network last night, and Undertaker ended it off with maybe it's still not over with their tag team, and I was like, oh, of course he's saying this still. So you never know, you really never know. But they sound like they got a big event, and they're really hyping it up. Like every time I watch anything on the network, it's always advertisement of Undertaker. So something's big, it has to happen. And even if it's just a promo that's, even if he just has a really, if it's advertised as it is, as a farewell promo, I suppose that'd be cool as, but I don't know if some way that I know people are saying the Fiend, Bray Wyatt could somehow, make something happen. There's rumors all over the place, but we just gotta sit back, watch, and if it is the last time we see him, then I guess you gotta just enjoy the moment, But 30 years from exact date, both on a Sunday, I think I think that's crazy, but I think it's something that's meant to happen. It's just ironic, but it all falls in the story. It's perfect, so that's why I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, no, we can't wait to see it indeed. But do you think it'll lead to something for WrestleMania, Sabotage?
Man, I would hope not. I'd like to see him finally, the fan in me would always want to see him keep going. But I think he needs to just, he's done everything. He's got nothing else to prove. We already know that he, keeps doing it year after year, and it's just. We've seen him. I thought his last couple matches were really great. He always talks about the whole WrestleMania 33, which I actually attended that WrestleMania against Roman Reigns, and that was just a kind of disappointing one to see. I thought it was over after that. He leaves his hat, his coat in the ring. I was like, okay, at least I get to see his last match, even though it wasn't the greatest. And then he does what he does, and wrestles a few more. But I thought the tag team match with him and Drew McIntyre. Or against Drew McIntyre and Shane McMahon, and he was with Roman Reigns. I thought that was a really good match. I thought the chemistry in that, was able, Roman may put a little bit more work in that match, but I thought they really fed off each other and they made it work for the best, And then I personally do I know Justin, you talked about cinematic matches before, but I actually did like the WrestleMania match with AJ Styles. I will say, I thought, for one of the first ones at the time, the pandemic, I thought it was great. And then, they keep doing it. And it kind of sometimes watching it, I feel like it's very entertaining. But then the fan in me is wait, this is professional wrestling. That can't happen, So sometimes it's just it gets a little phony. And, but, I really think the Boneyard match was cool. So I think if he does have another build to WrestleMania, back to your question, I feel like it could be another cinematic match with Bray Wyatt, if that is the case. Because then I think Bray Wyatt had a match with John Cena last year. That cinematic match I wasn't too much of a fan of. But the Boneyard one I thought. So, they're the creators. They can always make another, cinematic match, and he doesn't have to take a bump, So
yeah. No, definitely. And just a quick one, Sabotage. Our good friends at Wrestle Merch Central just pointed out something behind you there. Is that an Al Snow head behind you there?
Yes, that is.
What does everybody want?
Yes, that is. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I did a seminar with him when I was about 14, and I think he was at the show, and he wrestled some guy, probably the guy that books the show, and had him wrestle, and put him over or whatever. But I got to meet him, and our friend, actually, he's kind of a junk guy that just finds a bunch of junk stuff. So he found I guess a lump sum of heads. So He gave us one of them, and I actually was able to get it signed by him and stuff. So that's that story.
You don't talk to it, do you, Sabotage?
Yeah, I know. It's a little creepy, man. But it's just this. I'm at the restaurant right now. My dad, he just collects everything, so he wanted to make sure that was in the video.
Awesome. What about? I was going to ask. What about if we've all been played all along by WWE and Sting shows up at Survivor Series and sets up WrestleMania with Undertaker's cinematic match? I think that's the dream one everyone's been speaking about, isn't it? So
that'd be phenomenal. I wish they did that instead of the Triple H match. The Triple H, I think it was WrestleMania 31. I want to say.
Yeah.
It was the Triple H and Sting match. I wish that opportunity for Undertaker could have happened there, and then Sting, retires a couple years later. So, but what are you gonna do? Sometimes. But if that does lead up, then honestly anything could happen in wrestling. So, if that happens, I'll be pumped.
Yeah, SP3. What about your thoughts on this Sunday for the Undertaker's appearance?
I don't believe this is the final farewell. like fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. You're not gonna fool me more than twice. He's fooled us like 3 times. I was like Sabotage. I was also there at WrestleMania 33. I was one of the few people there who rooted for Roman Reigns because I was just like, I want this to be the end. I want this to be the end of the Undertaker. I just want him to go out in this, and I thought it was one of the best farewells right there with putting the hat in the ring, putting his gear down, kissing Michelle in the front row, and then him going down. People cried. I don't know if you saw that too, Sabotage. People cried next to me like, oh my God, it's the end. And it's just like ever since then, I've kind of had my own personal agenda on my podcast of True Hill Heat of just calling out Undertaker as the wrestling version of Brett Favre. Brett Favre Brett Favre retired so many times in the NFL, and Justin knows that being a Wisconsin native, and The Undertaker has done this so many times. He's had so many other opportunities besides WrestleMania 33 to retire. The end of an era match with Triple H, with him and Shawn Michaels going up 20-0. That would have been the perfect number to retire the streak on. Yeah, it would have been perfect right there. The end of the streak could have ended it right there. 33 could have ended it right there. Coming back and beating John Cena at 34. He could have ended it right there, but I knew when you brought him back for 34, we were not going to see the end. He was going to keep going to the point of parity, and we've seen his new greatest rival, Saudi Arabia, of how many times he's failed there, and it's just like, I can't believe this is the end, but I feel like this is going to be the best version. This is going to be the Undertaker's version of how they gave the farewell to Ric Flair after WrestleMania 24, with the BSK gang being there, with Kurt Angle being there, with Kane being there. I think it's going to be a nice little farewell for the Undertaker on Sunday.
Yeah, most definitely. Justin, what's your take on this Sunday and what's going to happen?
You know what? I have no idea, but I agree with SP3. Like, it's you can't. You're in, you're out, you're messing about, and I've done that with Brett Favre, and I don't even say his name anymore. I'm saying it for you guys because what people do not understand is that it was a waiting game for 3-4 seasons, even before his retirement, that the Packers would wait and go, hey, we kind of need an answer because the draft is coming up. And he just held everybody kind of hostage. Then he went and retired and cried, and then decided he wanted to come back. Management said, well, you come back, and you got to compete with the guy that's been doing the reps, Aaron Rodgers. And he didn't want to do that. He felt like, and to me, the hero's game would have been like, you know what? I'm a legend. Yeah, I'll compete. But to be, and so I love The Undertaker. I know, and Sabotage, I got to let you know, SP3, True Heel Heat, man, they're Roman Reigns all the way. So I hope you didn't get offended when he was saying, I hope, glad that Roman Reigns beat him. But, man, if Sting were to show up, like Maddog said, that would be crazy. And then we got Kurt Angle scheduled to appear. Actually, it says Kurt Angle. I'm reading the bottom of the screen here, Danny. Kurt Angle is scheduled to apper. I mean, anytime Kurt Angle decides that he's going to apper, I mean, you got to look out. You got to look out.
I'll get rid of that.
I'm just looking forward to it, just being a fan. What are they going to do? I'm like SB3. I don't trust, but obviously I'm going to watch and see what happens.
I will say SB3. When I did meet Undertaker, when I was 15, there was a Chicago Wizard World Comic Con going on, and the opportunity to meet him was there. So I was like, we gotta do it. Me and my dad went, and stupid me, I took the picture, and I was wearing a Roman Reigns shirt when I took the picture. So that was one of the biggest mistakes, but that's ironic. Yeah.
Well, he probably liked it because I also saw the Brothers of Destruction documentary, and he was saying that he thought that the streak should have ended at the hands of Roman Reigns, and I totally agree with him. Like, Brock didn't need it. I thought it should have been either Roman or John Cena, and that would have been the perfect way to either turn one of them heel.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I would agree. Yeah, if they would have put Roman in that spot, it probably makes more sense because Brock Lesnar is always going to be a beast. So like, it didn't mean much.
Sabotage, before we let you go from your appearance here on the Wrestling Travel podcast, we want to know your all-time Survivor Series team. If you had to pick 5 guys or girls to be in the team.
Oh, man. If I, could this be any generation altogether? Okay.
Yeah.
Man, this is probably just my top 5 wrestlers. But okay, so I would put Undertaker. I would put Triple H. I would put Daniel Bryan. I would put Edge. Oh man, and then man, it'd either be I'm gonna say Roddy Piper. I would put Roddy Piper there. So
Like it.
Last guy, the caboose. Come on in.
Nice. A fantastic team there indeed. And Sabotage, where can we find you on social media, things of that, for anyone that wants to check your work out?
Yeah. So all 3 social media accounts are at Sabotage Shawn for Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then our tag team, team of Robbie J, Renegade, and our tag team is Collateral Damage, and our handles are C Damage Inc. For all 3 accounts as well.
And
Awesome.
You have something very big coming out next week. Can you tell us about that?
Very
Probably
big.
one of the highlights of your career.
Is it the Wrestling Travel interview that I did with Mr. Justin Clapper?
Yeah, I'm glad that we're not. I wish we weren't live so we could edit out your laughing. But yes, absolutely, the lockdown session.
Yes. No,
Part 1.
Still consider that a big probably one of my biggest things in my career. I'm honored to get interviewed by your guys' company, so it's awesome. So I was really excited, and I'm excited to be back for another one. So I appreciate you guys having me on today as well.
Thank you, Sabotage.
Great to see you, dude.
Right, so you guys keep rocking it, and hopefully I'll be back for another one.
Yeah, we hope to speak to you very soon, and I hope you enjoy the Undertaker's appearance on Sunday.
I will. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
See you, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you there, Sabotage, for joining us there. We do have some more guests coming up very soon, so keep watching indeed. But we're going to move on to our next topic, which was the reveal of the PWI Top 50 Tag Team list. That was released. I believe the top 10 was released last night. The full thing was released this morning. Is that right, Justin?
I got it this morning at 6:00. My subscription, my digital subscription, came out. I know, like the top 100 women, they had an exclusive podcast with somebody revealing it all. I wasn't able to find that last night. Reached out to official PWI on Twitter just to find out when the digital version drops. It dropped this morning, and I sent the list over to you. So yeah, but we had the top 10 last night. I couldn't find the whole list.
Yeah, we currently have the top 10 list on wrestlingtravel.org at this time. Let me just provide that list now for you if you haven't yet seen the top 10. I should have probably had this prepared and ready before we dive in.
I've got it here if you need it.
Yeah, I got it.
Got it, yeah. We've all got it. I was going to say, while you're doing that, a big shout out to Rob Brennan, who's just popped up in the chat, and also Charlie, Tony, and Tom, who are all watching along with us today. A big shout out to those guys. Good to see you. Do get involved in the comments and let us know your top 5 wrestlers who you'd have in your Survivor Series team. I want to see everybody's in there by the end of the afternoon, so get involved.
Yeah, no, fantastic there, Maddog. But yeah, so the top 10, I'll start at number 10. So it was Roppongi 3K, of course, from New Japan. 9, the Kabuki Warriors. 8, the
Great
New Day.
team.
Yeah, fantastic. 7, Lucha Bros. 6, Gorillas of Destiny. 5, the Street Profits. 4, Justin's favorite, the North. Number 3, the Golden Role Models, of course, Bayley and Sasha Banks. Number 2, Kenny Omega, Adam Page. And then number 1, the number 1 tag team, FTR, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. But no spot in the top 10 for the Young Bucks. They did come in at 11 on that top 10. SB3 shaking his head. What's your take on that one there?
Okay. I've kind of tried to be, diplomatic when it comes to this whole top 10, because I understand the criteria is much different from just who's the most talented, who has like the best matches. The criteria is momentum, wins and losses, chemistry, activity, and the it factor. Now, when it comes to momentum, maybe the Young Bucks in the timeline of October 1st, 2019 to September 30th, 2020, their whole storyline arc has been about them not being able to live up to their legacy of being one of the greatest tag teams of all time. And their win-loss record hasn't been what a lot of people thought it would be in AEW. But when it comes to chemistry, when it comes to activity, I just put into who is having the best matches as a tag team. And the it factor, these guys are like 10 out of 10 in those genres. In the timeline that they gave us, they put on the greatest tag team match of probably the past decade with the Young Bucks versus the number 2, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. They have put on quality tag team matches with Private Party, with the Dark Order, with Butcher and the Blade. They had a great 8-man tag with them teaming with FTR versus Butcher, Blade, and the Lucha Bros. They had many great 6-man tag team matches against the likes of Jurassic Express, Death Triangle. It's just, I don't understand putting Roppongi 3K in there. Yes, Roppongi 3K won the junior heavyweight tag team titles at Wrestle Kingdom, but New Japan had 4 months off. They had 4 months off during this whole lockdown when the Young Bucks are out there delivering on almost a weekly basis on AEW Dynamite. The Kabuki Warriors, yes, they won the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, but I don't really remember their run that well, and I don't remember their run really giving us good to great matches like we've seen from the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks lack the momentum and the credentials of winning tag team gold, and I think everyone else in the top 10 achieved that, even the Lucha Bros being the AAA tag team champions. But I can even make an argument that the Young Bucks had a better run in that time span than even the Lucha Bros, and I absolutely love the Lucha Bros, but I can't say that they had more on those final 3 criteria than the Young Bucks. I just think the Young Bucks should be in the top 10. I agree with the top, at least most of the top 5. I know a lot of people were arguing Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. Oh, they're not a real tag team. What other tag team was having as many great matches as Hangman Page and Kenny Omega? What other great tag team was having as great of a long-term story as those two? So it doesn't matter if they were in a tag team on October 1st, but over that span of a year, they put on some of the best tag team matches anywhere in the business. So they deserve the number 2 spot. But FTR is very well deserved at number 1. They were champions in WWE, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. They were champions in AEW. They went on a long winning streak in AEW, and them coming over to that company was one of the biggest stories of the year. They created so much buzz for tag team wrestling, and in that time span, they had a great build to their matchup with the Young Bucks, which is outside of the time that they gave us. Another one, Tiny just said, Best Friends is another one that's had great tag team matches, and I think they're in the top 15. But hey, there's always going to be questions with lists like this. But my biggest oversight is the Young Bucks not being in the top 10.
Yeah, no, certainly indeed. It was a surprising one there. But just to interrupt this at this moment in time, we're going to bring in our next guest. If Justin would like to bring him in, announce him in.
I'll announce him in. Very happy to have great former Lockdown Session guest. Gave us some tremendous road stories, but all the way up in Buffalo, New York area, Vince Valor entering the room right as we're talking about the top 50 tag teams. And I want to turn the spotlight over to Vince, but I want to also, just before I give it up, number 40, Rock and Roll Express, baby. Love it. Vince, welcome.
What's up,
guys? Thank you for having me.
Vince.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. I've met two of you so far, but the other two I'm not familiar with. But I'm glad to be a part of the show. I'm what is this, the 20th episode for you guys? Congratulations on your milestone. I don't want to say here's the 20 more. Hopefully it goes much further than that. Here's the 200. Here's the 500 more. So congratulations on all your success. I'm happy to be a part of this.
Thanks, Vince. We're in the middle of discussing, and we thought we'd bring you in for this, the Pro Wrestling Illustrated's top 50 tag team list came out, and I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at the list yet, or at least see FTR number one.
I've seen the cover.
SB3 was just discussing the Young Bucks just on the outside at number 11 of the top 10 tag teams. Any thoughts?
They're arguably up there with FTR. I don't top 10 at least, if not top 5. I mean, come on. 11's pretty low for them. Out of 50, that's I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I had a chance to listen in on some of the other rankings before I was part of the show. I'm happy to see that the North is in the top 5. They're arguably one of the best tag teams in the world. I've had the chance to wrestle Ethan Page. I follow him closely on all of it, social media. He's gotten in tremendous shape over this lockdown. Josh Alexander has been one of the top talents in Canada for as long as I've been wrestling, longer than that. So it's great to see them get the recognition they deserve. Just out of curiosity, where do my boys, the Butcher and the Blade, rank in this?
Danny, do you have that list available?
I can certainly.
I can look it up while you guys talk. How about that?
Yep, certainly. Yeah. Maddog, what was your take on the list there? The top 5. Do you agree that Young Bucks should have been ranked higher?
Well, first of all, I'll just say hello to Vince. Great to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. And a great point by SP3. I think definitely the Young Bucks should have been in the top 10, really. But I had to do a top 10 the other week. It was Intercontinental Champions for Wrestling with John's podcast, and to pick a top 10 and come up with them criteria of how you're picking these people is difficult. Even with my list, I used all sorts of stuff, Steiner maths and everything to calculate mine. And even then, you're leaving big names out, and it's difficult to do. But it'd be interesting to know how they picked these guys, because there's a couple of people, as you said, the guys from, I saw Yo and Show at MediaCon 2018, really impressive tag team. But then, as you said, SP3, if they've had 4 months off this year when their Young Bucks have been wrestling every single week, from my criteria, simply, they would have to go ahead of them straight away because of that, because, just the work ethic you're putting in, to do all that action and come up with their matches and constantly wrestling, it's got to be based on that a bit. And I think there's a few big names in there, like the Kabuki Warriors and even like the New Day, who've just I feel like they've just been put in because they felt they had to put them in. I don't necessarily feel like they've had as many matches as some of the others this year. and certainly haven't been in big storylines and spotlighted as much as the others have on other promotions. So I'd like to hear how they pick the tag teams. Mainly for me, that's what how have they decided on who should be in this top 10? And is it just sort of it looks a bit half-hearted to me the way they've done it, to be honest. But I think FTR being top is a great call. Omega and Page have been brilliant. Bailey and Sasha were excellent, but then obviously have since split up. What were the dates, SB3, for the tournament they were going from? When was it based on? Was it earlier in the year they finished? Or?
No, it's October 1st, 2019 to September 30th, 2020. So basically that year span, which, I can probably see, and especially with the criteria that they gave us, they say that it's based on momentum, activity, it factor, your win-loss record, and chemistry. So I could see why those guys, the people that they have in the top 5, very well deserved. Everyone has been like a tag team champion in whatever promotion they are in for a long time. I agree with Vince. I think the North, even being at number 4, I think there's a little underrated. I can see Kenny Omega and Adam Page being ahead of them and FTR being ahead of them. But the Golden Role Models, I just feel like that's just on the name value, when it's really that whole thing was about more of their story of eventually breaking up, more than them having the quality matches that the North was having, and being the longest reigning Impact Tag Team Champions. I think is a little bump up, and they should be in the top 3 in my opinion.
See, I'll argue that, because even though they've split and they've had their story, as far as consistency and activity, like Bailey and Sasha Banks are top 5. Were they at 3?
Yeah, I agree. They're top 5.
I agree with that.
This should be ahead of them, in my opinion.
Absolutely. As far as tag team chemistry, Bailey and Sasha Banks during this whole lockdown, they've done a tremendous job of stepping up and carrying that company. As far as consistency, week in, week out, Bailey and Sasha Banks are it. So, I think they really deserve to be where they're at on that list.
And I've got an update for you. I do not see the Butcher and Blade in this top 50.
I couldn't see
You're kidding me.
What?
No.
Not in the top 50 at all?
Some of the notables, I see the Briscoes are at 15. Good friends of ours. The Rascals made number 18.
I love the Rascals.
Rock and Roll Express at number 40.
Since signing the AEW, find me another tag team that's gotten as over as Butcher and the Blade have. Good friends of mine, they deserve to be on this list.
They deserve to be in the top 50 for sure. Where is Proud and Powerful?
Proud and Powerful. Let me have a look. I've got the...
Really testing him now.
What's killing me is I've got the subscription, so every tag team's got their number, and then they got a big long article, so I'm switching up. But while Danny's looking that up, on the number 50, the Mr. Irrelevant goes to the Iconics. I could argue a lot, at least the Butcher and the Blade at number 50 over the Iconics. No offense to Billy Ray.
No offense.
I mean, I love the Iconics, but I'd put the Butcher and the Blade over them.
Yeah, so Proud and Powerful are at 16.
Okay. Top 20 finish is fair for them. I think another one probably that has a conversation to be in the top 10 is Best Friends, but they don't have a tag team title run. So I get that. I get everybody in the top 10 had a tag team title run in the time frame that they gave us.
Chuck and Trent are right in the middle at 25 as I'm looking.
Okay. Top 25, that's fair.
I think Street Profits have been very good this year, especially in the closed season with no fans. I think they've excelled themselves this year, and I think if there were fans, I think they'd be massively over at the moment as well. So I think they've done really well. And also great to see the Lucha Brothers in there. Phoenix and Penta have been excellent in all their outings that I've seen on AEW. So nice to see them involved as well.
Yeah, no, fantastic.
And Vince, sorry. I'm just going to say to Vince at number 38 is the Dark Order. Now, I've got to see them guys wrestle up in Canada on the indie scene before I even knew who they were. I really like that tag team. I really like Stu Grayson and Evil Uno.
Is it Stu Grayson and Evil Owner, or are they given like a different combination of where the Dark Order is with that? Because there's so many of them.
There's so many. A lot of people they've given like the whole faction, like the Undisputed Era, but this one at 38 is just Stu and Evil Uno.
Okay. Yeah, I'd even rank them a little bit higher than 38, but I mean, even before signing AEW, they were the Super Smash Brothers before. Like they were just so great. So it's great to see them get the recognition on this list. But yeah, I'd rank them a little higher than that.
Yeah,
Von Erichs are at number 39. I know you had the Von Erichs on True Heel Heat, Stu. I love the lineage there. Yeah, it's a great argument, this whole list. But Butcher and Blade kind of getting the snub for sure. Any other tag teams kind of getting the snub? I know WWE really, for the WWE being so, this is my opinion. The opinions of Justin Clapper are not necessarily the opinions of anybody else, but the WWE getting far away from tag teams, which they always seems to do, just by first glance seems to have a lot of tag teams on this list.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's not quite the emphasis in WWE on tag team wrestling as there is in like your AEW or your Impact Wrestling, other companies. And like, it's kind of a lot of throw together tag teams. Like you got like teams like Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. Like, and once these teams start to get over, they split. So like, there's not a lot of like, and I understand you got to include a lot of WWE tag teams, but there's not quite the emphasis there that the other companies have. So I listening in before I joined. I know the New Day was ranked pretty high, but I mean, Kofi had the long singles run. Woods was hurt most of the year. Should they really be as high as they are? Is that just on name value alone for how many title runs they've had, or is it like, come on?
I think in the time span though, they've had like 2 or 3 tag team title runs. So that's why I kind of made that argument with people on social media. Is the PWI has always been like a very kayfabe based list. So winning the title, it means more than having great matches. So I think that the New Day being a 2-time SmackDown tag team champions and now Raw tag team champions in that time frame, I think that's why they're on the list and make the top 10.
Makes sense that.
Right. You bring up a good point. Like, I'm not saying we're any smarter than anybody out there, but the jumping sides from a work kayfabe back and forth, it's sometimes very difficult to actually pinpoint, because if I look at it one way, it kind of makes sense. If I look at it the other way, it might make sense for another tag team. So it's very, how do I say that? You know what I mean? It's very, very hodgepodge of when I look at the reason somebody might be ranked high in kayfabe, and then I look at the kayfabe for somebody else, I'm like, it just seems like there was some picking and choosing going on and some name value, in my opinion, which doesn't represent your opinion.
No, that's awesome. But yeah, just some comments asking about certain rankings of certain tag teams. The Miz and Morrison ranked 27. We got next, we've got the Viking Raiders, Viking Experience number 35 on that list.
But he's been out. One of them's been out a little while with injury, hasn't he, as well? So I suppose that's put them down the list a little bit, because they had a very good year. I thought very impressive.
Yeah, most certainly. And of course, just in favourite, the Rock and Roll Express at number 40 on that list. Indeed. But Vince, whilst we've got you, obviously just for a short time now, with Survivor Series coming this Sunday, we want to ask you, what would be your all-time Survivor Series team if you had to pick just 5 male or females?
Oh boy.
Any era. Yeah.
I'll kick that off with Randy Orton just for his Survivor Series record alone. You think Survivor Series matches, you think Randy Orton. I'll throw Shawn Michaels in there. Nobody's going to give you a harder fought match than Shawn Michaels is going to from beginning to end. I'm a big fan of tag teams being a part of Survivor Series tag team matches. So, see, this one's going to be a little tough because, like, I'd love to say the Road Warriors, but I'm going to go with the Hart Foundation. My problem with this is it's Survivor Series. Are you really going to get Shawn and Brett to coexist on this team? Probably not. But I'm going to have this team anyway. And every good team needs a leader. And when you think leader, you think nobody better than The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Love it.
The strong team.
Very strong team indeed. But Vince, we want to thank you, of course, for joining us for this short time here on the podcast. But for anyone watching wants to find more of your work and, of course, your social media, things like that, where can we find you?
On all the social media, Facebook, Invincible Vince Valor. I believe the Twitter handle's on here, Vince Valor 31, Vinstagram 31 for Instagram. I'm also on Pro Wrestling Tees. They got a sale going on next week for Black Friday, so pick up one of my T-shirts if you'd like. Yeah, so I'm really grateful to be a part of this. I'm glad you guys had me on. I hope to be on again in the future.
Absolutely, we got to get you on when we got more time. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Great to see you, though.
Great seeing you, Vince.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
And I think Vince's team, though, HBK and Bret Hart, that could be the end of his team there if them two fall out. It's going to be a good match anyway.
Yeah, no, certainly indeed. And of course, thank you there for Vince. And we do have some more guests coming very, very shortly indeed. But just whilst we're on Survivor Series, we do have it, of course, this Sunday on the WWE Network. We know we've spoken about this in the past, about how there should be a bit more emphasis on that Survivor Series Raw versus SmackDown match with something at stake. But SP3, just coming to you first, are you? What is your sort of feelings heading into the show this weekend? Are you looking forward to it?
To be honest, no. Because I feel like the build has been very lacking. But the one match that I am looking forward to, that even with 1 week of build, they've done a good job of making you anticipate it, is Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. Their interaction on SmackDown just had star power and big match feel to it. And I feel like that's going to be a great money matchup for WWE that I wish probably would have had longer of build to, because these guys are just two top stars coming together and it feels totally different. And the fact that they versus last year at WrestleMania 35, it feels like it's two totally different characters, with Roman now being the tribal chief heel to Drew McIntyre being one of the best baby faces that WWE has produced in the past decade. This just feels like a huge matchup, and I'm very looking forward to it.
Yeah, certainly. And Maddog, what about yourself?
Yeah, similarly, they've done a great job in a short space of time building that into we sort of thought it might happen the other week when we were discussing it, and they've done such a good job of making it. And them guys have both been on upward trajectories for the last year, and to see them clash against each other, it'll be interesting to see where they go with that and what they do with it. For the big Team Raw versus Team SmackDown match, I feel both builds for those teams. Team Raw have got dissension in the ranks with Captain AJ. I'm not hugely excited about that at the moment, but when it gets to Survivor Series and it comes on, and if anyone could turn it on that night, and it could end up being an amazing match, and we'll all be here next week saying, "Wow, what a match that was!" But that's the thing with WWE; they've got that at any time. They could just suddenly, show up and make it extra special. So it could be a great match. I'm excited to see what they do with. It was Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn will be an interesting one, because Bobby's sort of been working more of a bully sort of heel, hasn't he, recently with the hair business, and Sami's also been like the sniveling heel the last couple of weeks, including this week where he tied Apollo Crews into the bottom of the ring, tied him up for the win this week. So I think that'll be interesting in how they go with that. A big shout to I think John Scott just popped his head in then as well from Powered 4 TV. Big shout out to those guys. And I think that's probably the match that I'm most excited to see what they do with it, because potential-wise, it could really be pretty special. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what they do. And obviously, the other thing I was going to mention was the Undertaker. 30 years of Undertaker. I know you touched on it before briefly, but but I was lucky enough to be at WrestleMania 23 when Undertaker beat Batista, which was amazing for me because it was the first time I saw Undertaker live, and I'd always looked forward to seeing him live. And then when I went to WrestleMania 28, as you guys said, I thought it was going to be Undertaker's last match then, with 20-0 beating Triple H, end of an era. And then, he kept coming back, and, he's been basically nearly retiring since, was it Royal Rumble 94 against Yokozuna when he got put in that casket? He could have retired then, and would have still had a great career, but he's carried on and done another 26 years. So good on him, and we'll see if it's the end this Sunday. It'll be a sad moment for wrestling fans, and if they can do a cinematic match at Mania or whatever, I think I'm so happy after watching the documentary that he can spend time with his family and he isn't beat up and everything, and he can go home and enjoy his life, and what a rare body of work he's left us with, like 30 years of great matches, So I'm excited to see what they do with that as well. But I could SP3 still see him having that one more match yet. Still
pains me that people think that this is over.
No, that's absolutely fine. But just before we move on and introduce our next guest, just want to, of course, let you know that Powered 4 TV, of course, you can subscribe for your first month and receive 50% off using the code TRAVEL. That's the code TRAVEL to get 50% off your first month. Powered 4 TV, which features some exciting promotions and podcasts as well, with promotions such as TNT Extreme Wrestling, 1PW on there as well, Ignite Wrestling from the States, and also now Chicagoland Wrestling, who will be on Powered 4 TV. And of course, our good friend Stuie's podcast is on there, as well as the Wrestling Travel Lockdown Sessions. So make sure you subscribe. You get 50% off your first month using the code TRAVEL. Some fantastic stuff on there.
Making their debut on Sunday is Chicagoland Championship Wrestling. So just so you guys know a little inside information, we were this close to having John Bullard, who runs Chicagoland Championship Wrestling, on, but something came up. I was going to get him on here to talk about it. We'll have to get him on the podcast next week. But for those of you in the UK, for around the world, just a lot of really great wrestling promotions, great podcasts such as Stu's, SP3. I keep waiting. Maybe someday.
Yes.
Maybe another way. I just don't want to. I don't want to drop any surprises on anybody. So,
guys, I was just going to say a couple of matches to look out for on there. There was a cracking match at Wrestle Island last year, which was Paradox versus Dogs of War. If you've not seen that one, that's definitely worth looking up. And also, we had Pentagon versus Pac at TNT Extreme a year and a half ago. That is a match to watch. And from the very same show, we had Ray Phoenix going against El Fantasmo as well, which if you've not seen those matches from TNT Extreme Wrestling, they are ones I would definitely say to check out. So have a little look up for those on Powered 4 TV.
Do you want to put True Heel Heat over too, since you stepped on him?
Sorry, SP3, we've got to say something. What a legend, You couldn't get someone more knowledgeable about New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I always value his opinion, so apologies if I stepped on you there, man.
Don't let Justin do that to you. But no, yes, I just wanted to tell you guys that you can also check out True Hill Heat on Powered 4 TV. We just debuted our channel on there this week, so you can definitely check that out.
Awesome. That is fantastic news indeed. But we're going to bring in our next special guest. Justin, would you like to introduce our next guest?
Yeah, absolutely. I can introduce him just by the beanie that I'm wearing. So from locations worldwide, with his volume all the way up on his phone, the mercenary, Garrisaon. Welcome in.
How are you guys doing today?
Great to see you, man.
Awesome.
So what are we talking about now? I just got back from the gym, so I was zoned out there. Now I'm back in here. What's going on today, guys?
Well, we're talking a little Survivor Series today. Where is that echo coming from, Danny?
I'm not sure.
Okay, all right. We got Survivor Series. We're talking about The Undertaker. We're talking about Pro Wrestling Illustrated top 50 tag teams came out today.
Top Flight make the list?
Top Flight did not make the list, but I'll talk about that
Next year. Next year.
What
was
we were
great on
talking
AEW.
about, SP3, we were talking about the Young Bucks didn't even make the top 10. They're at number 11. But talk about that match last night, Top Flight and the Young Bucks.
Looks like the guys have had 100 matches beforehand. All four of them together. It was well put together. It was well constructed. The footwork was fantastic. There was no skipping a beat. It flowed so easily. Knowing Dante and Darius personally, I'm so proud of those guys going on up there. Not only just going to taking that step to go on there, but actually seeming like they're telling the world, hey, we belong here. So I'm just going to give it a matter of days before they put some paperwork in front of those boys.
Very good. Very interesting. We're also talking. Go ahead, Danny. Please host the show.
Yeah, Garrisaon, Survivor Series coming up this weekend. What would be your all-time Survivor Series team? I'd pick 5 members of that team.
My all-time choosing a Survivor Series team. Well, we got to head it up by Bret Hart. Just need somebody solid technical there. Put in the Undertaker because it's the Undertaker. Come on, Survivor Series. He owns that. That's his backyard. Let's put in some heavy hitters like Triple H. Just because he's always near and dear to my heart, and he could be the heart and soul of any team. Let's put in Rey Mysterio Jr. and let's put in some Eddie Guerrero in there just for some old time's sake as well.
Awesome, very nice.
Bit of the Latino heat.
Oh yes, you need a little extra spice in that.
Got the chemistry of Eddie and Ray in there. I like it.
Oh yeah, we can put that together. I'm sure there's some magic that can happen with that.
Yeah, no, beating Garrett, and obviously we see turn up wherever you want. In some shows. What have you got lined up in the future there?
Right now, fighting COVID. Things are kind of slowing down here stateside. I'm in the Midwest, and a lot of the states are shutting down. I have Insane Championship Wrestling in Milwaukee this weekend. Fingers crossed that doesn't get shut down. But the rest of the year is looking pretty bleak with COVID coming on up. It's running rampant here. Next year, down the pipeline, though, I got some great things lined up with Chicagoland Championship Wrestling. Them having made plenty of deals in the last couple of months with Elevate Pro down in Louisiana, and just recently Guerrero's Aztecas down in Mexico. There's supposed to be some talent exchange going on down there. I also am supposed to be going down to Palais Pro down in Texas. They're starting up down there. So that I'll be down in Texas in January. And I got a couple other things in the works as well. Garrison Creed is going to be a name to look out for here in 2021.
Yeah, we certainly can't wait to see it. What's good rave about you all the time, Dave? We can't wait to see what the future holds for you. Read that.
Thanks, Matt. I'm kind of surprised at how well I already did this year with all the pandemic and the close downs and stuff like that. But I ground down. I had some help with Justin here, giving me some contacts information, people to reach out to. I made the phone calls, sold myself, and pretty much just started showing up at places. And anywhere I showed up, they liked it and got the ball rolling. And I'm making an impact and feet on the ground anywhere that I end up being.
No, that's amazing. Were you at OVW recently?
Recently, I participated in the Ohio Valley Wrestling in Al Snow's combine and tryout camp.
Wow.
And they run that thing. That's a college level, like a college football combine. You have your strength test, your bench press, your squats. You will have field agility tests, and then couple that with in-ring and psychology and footwork tests. It's mentally and physically enduring, and it's an entire day process. I got some really good feedback. I'm just waiting now to see what the results come back from that.
And please go back a little bit in history and let people know what happened in Dallas at the Independent Wrestling Expo, and then more recently, Warrior Wrestling. I know you're not one to pat yourself on the back, but I'm going to help you pat yourself on the back here.
Talking about those opportunities I took advantage of, we had this ridiculously large Independent Wrestling Expo in Dallas last August. I caught wind that they were going to have a battle royal, and whoever was going over for that was going to get a shot at Nick Aldis for the NWA World's Heavyweight title. Anybody in this country, anybody in this wrestling business should be chomping at the bit at a chance at the 10 pounds of gold. So you know what? Bet I showed up unannounced, not on the card. I jumped the rails. I entered myself in that battle royal. I didn't get the opportunity to go against Nick Aldis, but I did turn some heads in their administration down there. They gave me a little bit of mic time to get myself over the next day. So I used that opportunity to challenge anybody, and there was a who's who of people in that locker room. So I challenged anybody that day, and it was answered by Madman Fulton, who promptly planted me thoroughly in the center of the ring with a choke slam from 9 feet up in the air. But that got me a little bit of recognition. Not too long later, I showed up at Warrior Wrestling, went over in a pre-show match against Jordan Cross, and then the following week went over in a pre-show battle royal. That was, I believe, the finish of that was aired on Fight TV.
Yep, it was.
So, making some headway, making some waves in places.
Yep, putting the work in. Hard work meets opportunity. Garrison Creed is a guy. I sound like his manager, and I'm not, but I just know he puts the work in. And one of his mottos, like I always say, be ready so you don't have to get ready.
It's like Batman, be prepared always for everything. Anything, everything, all the time.
No, I like that. I love it. Gareth, thank you very much for joining us here on the podcast. We hope to go on again in the future.
Hey, thank you guys very much for having me. You guys have a great day now, all right?
You too.
Thank you.
Hey, your merch is on sale. Black Friday coming up. Let's plug the merch.
All right. ProWrestlingTees.com/Garrison Creed. Just the way it sounds. GarrisaonCreed. They got 40% off discount coming up starting next Tuesday throughout the rest of the week. Also, you can check me out on the rest of the social medias: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Garrison Creed. Look it up. I'm right there. Easy to find.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much.
See you, man.
Awesome there. Can't wait to see what is in the future there for Garrison Creed. Indeed there. But just looking at the comments, of course, everybody who wants to let us know their top 5 wrestlers for their Survivor Series team, please do let us know in the comments. We've got Max Green, who has put The Undertaker, Stone Cold, Kane, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels, a very Attitude Era based Survivor Series team there in
Strong team.
Very strong team indeed. But yeah, let's hope we get some more of those indeed moving forward. But we do have another guest waiting in the wings, ready to join us here, and it is Mr. Franco Varga is
How
back.
can you have- how
Hey,
can you
Franco!
How can you have your 20th without the biggest wrestler ever? Thanks for having me, guys.
Great to see you.
Welcome,
Oh,
Franco.
man, yeah, I'm excited. I'm super excited to be back on here. The topic today, I'm just gonna get out of the way and piss off a bunch of people. The entire Nation of Domination should be my 5 for any Survivor Series, any year, any era. They'll beat anybody. They're the best. The entire Nation of Domination, including The Rock, of course. You got to include The Rock. Sorry, Owen. I'd probably bump Owen, but the entire nation will take on anybody, any team, any era, anybody. It doesn't matter. The nation wins.
Do they come to the ring with JC Ice and Wolfie D, PG-13? Or they come?
Don't see. We're trying to forget that part, okay?
Okay, I just want.
It's a black guy, but updates for me. So check this out. I just bought a house. Who does that in the middle of a pandemic? Me, right? So I'm moving in the moving truck. Why not? And I couldn't miss it. I had to call in. I had to see what you guys are up to. So, and I got some cool little exciting things to plug. I think you guys will be the first ones I plug it to. So we'll get to that part. But I'm excited. Hopefully you guys will be excited too.
One thing I want to ask you about, we were discussing, and I think you'll be on my side, the top 50 tag teams that Pro Wrestling Illustrated released. And at number 40, some guys you know very well, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson.
Yeah.
The Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah. How do you put them that low on the list? I just,
Exactly.
everybody always says, like, man, why are you so against the 500 list? And I just think, I don't understand why we put so much weight on it. It's always wrong. It's always just, like, criminally wrong. And, like, it's just some guy, any one of us could put 500 wrestlers and be like, this is our list. Like, it's some guy's opinion, and unfortunately it's some guy's opinion who never wrestled. If I was on the Undertaker's top 500 list of that year, I would be flattered. But some guy on a keyboard, I don't know, why do we put so much weight on that? He's not even, a lot of people crap all over it all year round, but they certainly tune in to see what the 500 is, So it's like, I don't think we should put a lot of weight. The 500 used to be fun, and like now it's just this big source of like everyone bashing everybody about everything. So like I don't understand. The other thing about last year when they said the 500, they left out almost everyone from the UK. They left out. It's just like wrestling doesn't only happen in America, which is like I said, we can't have a 500. You're telling me Rampage Brown isn't in the top 10? It's criminal every year. Walter isn't in the top 10 before he got signed. It's insane. So, yeah, I don't care about those lists. They're so dumb. The Rock and Roll Express. You're talking about all time. Ask anyone to bring up anyone in all of history and ask them if they made more money than the Rock and Roll Express. I doubt it. So how can they be 40? That makes no sense. This makes no sense. So yeah, I'm on your side. 40 is criminal. It's insane.
I got a chance to finally tune into the School of Morton. But now, due to COVID, did I read that right? That's just going to be delayed and on hiatus for right now?
Yeah, so I'm the champion there, and a lot of I'm the bad guy. So a lot of the fans think that I had, my 2 cents to put in because I want to stay the champion. We had a big pay-per-view in Georgia, December 12th. But because of COVID, some of the staff and some of the guys had positive tests. I can say that now; it's out there. And I thank God I'm still negative. I get tested every Monday. So I kind of, I was consulted. A bunch of guys were consulted, and we just kind of came to a decision that maybe, not just the 2 weeks, but maybe stay off till maybe January 3rd, and that's kind of what we're doing. So. Give everybody some time to heal up, and I'm actually taking myself completely off the indies mid-December till maybe January 3rd. So take off a few weeks of just like doing nothing and just working out. And then apparently like all these states are shutting down again, and I just called my gym and I'm like, you can't shut down, or else give me a key because I'm gonna be in there. You can't do this to me again.
all my buddies in the UK, I check with them and they're like, yeah, everything's shutting down slowly again. So it's creeping up, but I'm sure it's going to happen, restaurants and all that again. So we just didn't want to be the source of someone getting sick and ultimately losing their life because they couldn't stay home from a wrestling show. We didn't want to be those guys. So yeah, we shut it down. Ricky made a good call and he checked with everybody he needed to check with, and then he made a great call. So I appreciate it. I'm sure the fans hate us right now, but they'll be hopefully safe, and we'll see them next year.
Awesome. Rumor has it that you're taking mid-December till January 3rd just to decorate the new house. It's going to take you that long.
So rumor's wrong because I'm not even allowed to decorate. I just pay for things. and she does the rest. She kind of just like, okay, what shows do you have this week? All right, great. See you on Monday, and then I come home and there's a whole bunch of new stuff. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess this is on my credit card or my debit card somewhere. And this stuff is great. And I can't complain. So, but no, I can't decorate, A lot of rumors had it that I was moving to Florida, and I was just like, I can't really say or I can't confirm nor deny, but all I can say is I bought a house. That's it.
Nice tease.
I feel like I'm hogging the rest of the guys' airtime. Go ahead, SP3.
No, I just said that was a nice tease. If he is or isn't going to be in Florida.
Hey, learn from you guys. You know what I'm saying? Don't give it all away. Oh man.
So what do you now? Let's. We had a topic earlier on. We talked about Zelina Vega having her OnlyFans and stuff, and the kind of being let go. Do you, Franco? I'm not even sure, and I should do my research. But do you do like a Twitch or anything like that, or would there be something that you would consider doing if you got a lot of time off from wrestling? I'm not saying OnlyFans because I know, but I mean, which
I don't think I'm pretty enough for OnlyFans, but I applaud her. I'm glad that she did what she did. I know she's very outspoken, and I actually know a couple guys that are agents there, and it had a lot to do with just not following the rules, not laying down for the rules that are set, and I guess that's I applaud her for that because that's kind of the reason why I would never want to be there. Is just there's a lot of rules and things, just knee-jerk reactions that you got to just say, yeah, well, yeah, I'll drop the thing that I enjoy that makes me a lot of extra money to lay down for your new rule. So she didn't, and I applaud her for that. I actually am a partner on Facebook Gaming, so I occasionally. I'm not saying I'm good. These kids are, if you want to watch me get destroyed on Call of Duty every other Wednesday, I'll be on Facebook Gaming starting in January. So yeah, I'm super happy for her. I know getting released sometimes can suck, but she was very, very ready for it. And if anything, all they did was help AEW because that's what everyone complains about. AEW is the champion's great, but the rest of the women's division is meh. So they just basically gave her someone with a lot of character, a lot of charisma, and can actually work that they basically kept out of the ring for I don't know why, but all her stuff before she got signed was great. So if they don't sign her, I mean, I doubt she goes to Impact Wrestling or any other smaller budget ones. So it's kind of obvious she would go to AEW and help them immediately. So she wouldn't be a manager. That would be criminal again to make her a manager. So, and then a lot of people were just like, well, what happens to Aleister Black? Because they're actually married. I know my wife will kill me if I stayed. So I wouldn't see. I don't see him staying. You know what I mean? So that's probably another talent they're going to lose here, sooner than later, or probably won't re-sign. So it's a lot of but am I happy for her? Yes. Will I do OnlyFans? No. Don't get excited. But I will be on Facebook Gaming starting in January, every other Wednesday. So.
Amazing.
What's your game, Franco? What do you like to play?
I try to play Call of Duty, but I'm horrible at it. And I like Among Us. It's, like kind of casual. But at the same time, so the few times that I've done it to test it, to do the numbers and stuff, I find myself just kind of answering a bunch of wrestling questions anyway. So I was kind of just like, maybe I should just do like a live Q&A. So I kind of started doing those, but I got the partnership with Facebook Gaming, so I figured out this play. But yeah, shooters and not so. I mean, I used to be really good at basketball games. I don't know about the newest one. I haven't really put any time into that kind of stuff yet. But we'll see. Yeah, Call of Duty. That's my favorite one. If I want to get upset and like get a new controller because I threw and broke this one, that's my game.
Now, what's your console then?
Oh, don't start with me. All right, I'm an
Okay,
Xbox
all right,
guy.
all right.
Xbox guy since the beginning.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I tried PlayStation 4 when it first came out. Didn't dig it, and just went back to the Xbox. And cool little tidbit: I have a working Xbox Day One edition, so I'm gonna keep that one for a long time. And then before that was the N64. I was always an N64 guy because all the wrestling games and the Marios and all that. So yeah. But PlayStation does have a lot of exclusives that I'm like, maybe I should get one, but I just can't do it. Controller's too small, I think.
It's teasing all of us Xbox guys for sure.
Yeah. And baseball, and like, we don't have an exclusive baseball game. I used to love baseball on the console, and we just don't, so there's so many reasons to switch back to PlayStation, but I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna.
Gotta stay loyal. Stay true to what you believe.
Absolutely.
Amazing. But Franco, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast once again. Even if it's just for a short while, we definitely want to get you on again for a longer.
Yeah. Hey, so if you don't mind, I'm going to drop that exclusive announcement.
Exclusive.
All right, so heard first. All right, we just locked down the deal. Just signed the thing 2 days ago. So I will be returning to Japan in July for a brand new company. It's like they're splitting, companies. They split away from bigger companies and start all over, right? So it's called Puro Slam Stars. It's actually like kind of a Hogan deal. I got a split of the door. It's only like 2%, but still, that's huge for an indie wrestler. So, and then of course, like, so I'm super excited to be part of something brand new. They have Kurikan on one of the nights of the tour. So that would be my first time in the hall. So I'm very excited to lose at Kurikan Hall, I'm sure. So, but so 3 weeks of July, I'll be in Japan. So brand new company, helping them grow. And it's a 3-week tour with a bunch of sponsors already lined up, and everything's already lined up. Yeah, they actually reached out to Jeff Cobb first, and he turned it down. And then I was number 2 on the list. It's super flattering. So I was like, hell yeah. I mean, Jeff Cobb's no slouch. So hell yeah, I'll take it. So that's Puro Slam Stars, July 2021. It's going to be a hell of a tour. So
that's awesome.
Back to Japan for me.
Amazing. Wow.
Be excellent, mate. Well done.
So yeah, that's the exclusive.
Congratulations.
You guys are the first ones that I've told. Well, okay, I told my mom, but you guys are the first.
Spoiler.
You guys are the first ones that I've told officially as media. So there you go. See, I told you I like you guys.
I appreciate it. That is exclusive to us 4 and both of our listeners.
That's right. That's right.
No, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure Stewie's somewhere freaking out right now. So I miss you too, buddy. But but yeah, so back to Japan for me, all of July. Of course, I got the UK in March, and then I'm trying to finish up some things to get me to go to India in June. So June and July, the wife's not going to be happy, but it's going to be awesome for me. So.
You'll be busy decorating, won't you?
Yeah. I'm sure I'll come home to a bunch of new furniture and stuff, but it'll be fine.
We'll have to, in a message here, drop us the Puro Slam Stars because I suck at Twitter. I was just trying to find them to try
Oh,
to
yeah.
promote? I'm not
I
sure if
got
they're on there or not, or if I'm spelling stuff wrong, but cool.
I think it's in Japanese. I'll give you the actual at whatever it is.
Awesome. We'll certainly promote that. That's fantastic news. And dude, to get an exclusive like that for us, that's awesome. We can't thank you. And coming in second to Jeff Cobb is something that Danny does best. So congratulations.
Nice.
It's like a Stewie story from the other week.
Yeah.
8 seconds or something, was it, Danny? What was that?
From his honeymoon.
Yeah, I love Jeff. We were in the UK together, and just watching him like really made me want to, up my stuff. But we do a lot of things that are different in the ring, but I was just like, man, we're around the same size. So it's just like inspirational, like see him hang with those guys and me, even though I can do different things. Like that match alone, me versus him would be, even the promoter said it like, man, I wish you guys were here an extra day. I would put you guys together. But maybe that's one of those dream matches for later on. So
Save that for next time. Keep them wanting
Yeah.
more.
yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. But Franco, thank you once again for joining us today, and congratulations on the house, all the deals with Japan and everything coming your way in the future. We can't wait to see what 2021 brings for you there.
Hey, congratulations on the podcast. You guys are awesome. And I'm sure you guys are going to have not 20, not 40, not 60, not 80, but 100. So I'll be on the 100th one. I'm pretty damn sure. My retirement speech will be on the 100th one. So, you know how it is in indie wrestling. We just got to keep going, man. So, yeah. But, yeah, thanks for having me, man. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. And people can follow you at Franco Wrestles.
Yep, at
on
Franco
Twitter.
Wrestles. I'm about to drop a bunch of new. All right, I guess I'll tell you guys. So for next year, the theme for gear and merchandise and all that is my top 5 bad guys of all time. So I'll tell you the first one. I'm not going to tell you the rest, but the first one is gear, merchandise, all that. M. Bison from Street Fighter. So I'll send you guys the. Not a guy who's talked about a lot. I loved him as a kid. So he's one of my favorites. So I got new gear, new boots, new everything as a tribute to M. Bison. So it'll be nice.
Love it.
It fits very well. Surprisingly. So yeah. So that's the thing for next year. So at Franco Wrestles, Pro Wrestling T/Franco, all that. So that's the way to find me.
Awesome. Great to catch up with you.
Good seeing you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Franco.
See you next time, Franco. Thank you.
Thank you. Later.
Awesome news there for Franco indeed. What a year he's going to have. Because I believe he's coming to the UK or supposedly in March if obviously everything is fine. And of course India in June, Japan July. Wow. Exciting.
That's a heck of a calendar, that, isn't it?
It really is. Wow, amazing. But just before we move on, SP3, am I right in thinking you will need to depart anytime now?
Yes, I have to go back to daddy duties before I prepare for filming of the True Hill Heat podcast. But I'm very happy to join you guys, hear that great news from Franco, catching up with Creed and Vince Valor, meeting Sabotage. This has been a great episode 20, talking about Survivor Series, my hatred of the Undertaker comebacks, and all this good stuff. Always a great time with you guys, for sure.
And you guys recently celebrated the milestone.
Yes, you can check out the True Hill Heat YouTube channel for True Hill Heat 100, our 100th episode with your very own Justin Clapper with one of the introductions congratulating us on our 100th episode. We have plenty of great guests. Darius Carter, who's a great independent wrestler out here in the East Coast, as well as Joakim Morales, the promoter of Battle Club Pro right over here in the East Coast as well. Bunch of guests from our True Hill Heat correspondents like Jay News, Marcus Cash, True Hill Josh, Jonathan from Dirt Sheet Radio. It was a huge episode. So many special guests of the past came on, and we talked about all the latest wrestling news, week 53 of the Wednesday Night Wars. So that was a good one. And You can also check out True Hill Heat 101, which is going to be dropping on our YouTube channel this coming Saturday, as well as all the great content, True Rewind, AE Recap, Wednesday Night Warriors. And we have daily content on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, so definitely check that out. If you can't check it out on the YouTube channel, check it out on Powered Forward TV, which is our new home for those folks in the UK. You guys have gave me the UK buzz, being surrounded by Wrestling Travel and Mike over here. You guys have inspired me to kind of outreach to our UK fans, which is you guys have one of the best wrestling communities in general. So it's always great to expand over there. Of course, you can also find me on the Wrestle2 YouTube channel on Wrestling Daily with Alex McCarthy live every Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. BST. I even know your time schedule, so it's all good over there. And if you don't like seeing video, hearing us, you can hear us on all the audio podcast platforms, iTunes, Spotify, Anchor. You can read me on Sportskeeda Wrestling. If you don't like wrestling, I also do a men's lifestyle podcast. Actually got the shirt right here. It's called True Toxicity. Talking about relationships and life in general, being a father. Those is always a great time. And I even do show reviews for Umbrella Academy and Ozark on my good friend Jimmy Macaram's YouTube channel. So doing a whole bunch of other things, but always fun every Thursday being live with you guys on Wrestling Travel. You guys are been great friends to us, and I don't think we would be possible to reach 100 episodes without you guys' support. So thank you as always.
Thank you. And coming soon to you, SP3, maybe some sleep or
No. 8-month-old twins do not make that possible. We're still teaching my daughter how to crawl right now. My son just got a tooth, so I live for them. I watch too much wrestling to get any more than maybe 3 to 4 hours sleep, but it helps me be up for Japan, so that's fun.
Yeah.
But
what was SP3's Survivor Series team?
Yes.
My Survivor Series team, since we talked about them earlier, I agree with what I think it was Vince. What Vince said, you always got to have a good tag team on your Survivor Series team. So I'm going to say the Young Bucks. I'm going to show respect to the Young Bucks since PWI didn't. The Young Bucks, I'm going to start off my team there. I'm going to say Shawn Michaels. I think that he's one of the greatest Survivor Series performers of all time. Daniel Bryan, who is the person that kind of got me back into professional wrestling with his work on the indie scene and then coming into WWE. And then he got to have a big man in there. I would love to say The Undertaker, but I already said I hated his comeback so many times, so I'm not going to say him. If we're going to say big man, then I'm going to show respect to one of the greatest that is very underrated, Big Van Vader. Vader time on my team.
awesome team.
Very good team.
Good team. Strong team.
But SP3, thank you very much again, as always, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you this time again next week.
Yes, I will see you guys next week. Thank you, as always, Danny, Mike, Justin. You guys are awesome. Take care.
Great to see you, man. Have
Thank
a good
you,
week.
sir.
Take care, guys.
Just
Shrunk.
the three of us.
Wait now. Where's is the legend gonna make an appearance or did he bail out on us?
Where is he? I thought he'd be out of work by now.
Oh, he sent us a message before, guys. He said needed to go shopping.
He is a comedy genius. What an absolute legend. Should we do the plug for him now in case he doesn't get to appear? So do make sure you check out Stu's Wrestling Podcast, the best wrestling podcast from the North Wales coast. What a legend, comedy genius, and definitely one of my favourite interviewers. To watch him interview some of the stars that he gets on his show is an absolute pleasure. So make sure to check out Stu's Wrestling Podcast if you get a chance this week. I was going to say, do you want my Survivor Series team, guys? I've been thinking about this right through the whole show.
Yes, please.
So my team would be Triple H, who's one of my favourite wrestlers ever. Rob Van Dam. I thought that would be a bit exciting. I think that would make some. Oh, here he is. Here's trouble. I've just done a plug for you, Stu.
I'll just pop in. Sorry about that. I've enjoyed it.
You've enjoyed. Let me tell you the rest of my Survivor Series team quickly, and then you can tell us yours.
Yeah, go on then. Fire away, Maddog.
So I just said Triple H and RVD. Then I'd have Bret Hart. Solid, you can't go wrong with that. And Mr. Perfect. And then I was going to put Taker in, but we've spoke a lot about Taker today, so I'm going to put Macho Man Randy Savage as my fifth man instead.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Hopefully that team can coexist and defeat all the other teams we've had today. Especially, I think D'Lo is a weak link in the nation. There, he's going to get too easily distracted, and Comma as well. I don't think they're going to make it to the end of that. They're not going to be the sole survivors in this competition. So, and go on, Stu, tell us yours. Who'd be your 5-man team?
Well, I say about Brett every week, so he'd be my team captain. Tag wise, I'll have Demolition in there. We need a big man, don't we? I'm going to throw a curveball in because I loved him, the big boss man. I'm going to have the big boss man in there. Ray Trailer. We'll have big Ray Trailer in there as well. And I've got one more. I'll have Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, I think, just to finish it off. That'd be my 5 traditional team.
That's a classic sort of 1991 team. That good one.
Always like the boss man.
Definitely. Justin, what's your team?
Well, before you pop, Mike, can you pop Tiny Love's team up on the screen for me? I know he's shared it twice.
I saw that. Yeah, Bam Bam on his list.
Oh, there we go.
Very athletic big man.
I mean, he's got a pretty good. I mean, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Wyndham is good. Bam Bam. Taking a page from my AWA book, The Mountain from Stone Mountain, Jerry Blackwell. And I know Tiny's a Sweet Daddy Falcone fan. Do you guys know Sweet Daddy Falcone over there?
I don't think I'm familiar with him. What territories did he work?
He did Global Wrestling Federation on ESPN for a while, so kind of cool. I like seeing kind of the unsung. But mine, I'm gonna start with the captain of my team, Greg Gagne from the AWA. Of course, if I got the Gagne, I gotta have a Hennig. I'm gonna have Kurt Hennig, cool Kurt Hennig. You're gonna see kind of a theme here in mine. I would like to be my tag team. I'm going to go with Kerry and Kevin Von Erich from World Class. And I guess, I wanted to use Blackwell for my big man, but I don't want to double up. Blackwell is one of my all-time favorite big men. So I'm going to bring in from World Class. No, you know what I'm going to bring in? Did World Class at AWA. Bruiser Brody.
Yeah, go on. Yeah. Perfect. Absolutely brilliant.
So what do you got, Danny?
What have I got? Jeez. Well, I'm going to go that. I can't remember who said it earlier, just from his record in sort of Survivor Series matches. I'm going to go Randy Orton in there. To start. Chris Jericho. Big fan of Chris Jericho. Kurt Angle. Eddie Guerrero. And the last one, like you said about, we need a big man in there. It's tough. I'm gonna be Brock. Lesnar. He'd kick everybody.
Bloody hell.
Like
game changer.
Brock, Orton, HBK, Kurt, and Eddie.
Some good scenes today. Clapper's gone underwater.
I muted my mic because I had to cough, but look who jumped in. John Scott, check out his team. That's a legendary team here.
John, I know we bring that up. There we go.
Buddy Rogers. I can't believe none of you guys said the Bulldogs.
I know.
And
I should
Done
have
a
gone for a
disservice. At least
team
John
really.
Scott. At least John Scott got him in there. Good man.
Man, there's so many. You know, one of the guys I was going to put in there too was like King Kong Bundy, a legend. You know, Big John Studd. You think about Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Did anyone pick Bam Bam?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
a
was one
couple
of
guys
Tiny's.
did Bam Bam. What about this? How about just while we're just sitting here for a second, let's change it up. Give me your traditional 5-woman Survivor Series team.
Ooh.
And I'll give you guys a second to think. But Stuie, I want to ask you really quick. The Young Bucks were number 11 on Pro Wrestling Illustrated's top 50 tag teams, just announced today. What's your feeling about that?
That's ridiculous. Come on. They're just basing it off them not having the titles in AEW, but they've got them now, and they've been in all the big matches throughout the year, haven't they? What's it's subjective, I suppose, isn't it?
And the list does what it's supposed to do. It gets people talking about it. So.
Yeah, it's just they should have been higher than 11th in my mind, but I'm sure some people would say no, they should be 11, but it's a bit iffy to me, that.
Awesome. So what do you got for your top 5 women's team, guys?
Well,
I can go first if you want.
We'll have Medusa, Alundra Blaze.
That's two.
Who else? I'm trying to think. Who else?
Do we pick it? Should we pick it between us? I've got a couple I can throw in.
Lovely. Put Lita in there. Got to have Lita in there as well. I'm trying to think, really. Asuka, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, off the top of my head, but there's plenty, isn't there? So many, especially more modern times.
Absolutely. Who's Maddog?
Yeah, I'd like to see China as the captain for that team. Pretty strong. I was going to put Medusa in my team as well. Bull Nakano, Sherry Martel. I think would make it quite interesting having Sherry involved.
100%.
And probably Mickey James as well. I think it's been a great talent through the years. So that would be my team for the ladies.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, I think Trish will be in there for me. Mickey will probably be in there for me. Obviously Charlotte, Becky. I'm going to throw a wild one in there, Sable.
Crikey, yeah.
Just to, distract the other team.
Yeah,
I'm excited to hear Justin's as well. Have you got some ladies?
Yeah, I got to go Sherry Martel.
I
got to go Sherry Martel, one of the AWA women's champion. I want to go with I really like her, Candy Divine, another former AWA women's champion. I've got to go despite any. Well, you know what? I got to go Mildred Burke. Look that up, gentlemen. That's an oldie. Mildred Burke. I'd like to go Joyce Grable, but I think I'm going to go. Who do I have so far? I got Sherry. I got Candy. I've got Mildred Burke. So I've got 2. There's so many to choose from. If you weren't under pressure on the podcast, you guys could go back. So I guess in the kind of the modern era of wrestlers that we have here, I guess I need to pick one. And boy, I don't know.
John Scott might be able to help you. He's just put a belter of a list up there that might help you out.
Good shout with Ronda as well.
The one I was looking at.
Luna Vachon
as well.
I'm going to steal Luna Vachon from him. And I wanted to say Moolah just because of her longevity, and I know that's controversial, so I won't. I'm going to throw in. You know what? I'm going to back up. I'm going to throw in the Glamour Girls. I'm going to go. I'm going to throw in Velvet McIntyre, Judy Martin, I could name so many. The
We've
jumping
got about
bomb
a 10
angels.
women team here. This is just turning into
I know. I could throw in so many.
fantasy going out there. What's happened to Stuie? Lost him again.
Yeah, I think he's gone shopping again or something.
Oh, crikey. He'll come back with a pack of Doritos or something in a minute.
Or he's in the hot tub.
Danny, I had one other thing I wanted to mention was that a good point I saw mentioned on the internet was that somebody suggested that it'd be good if Shad Gaspard got the Warrior Award at the Hall of Fame this year. And I think that was an absolute great shout. It was JTG, yeah. I think that is an absolute shout. I think that is a great call. Or, if there's not a separate award made for him, definitely that'd be, something that would be a great thing to do and would be really pay tribute as well to Shad Gaspard. So I think that would be great. So I saw that on the internet this week. I thought that would be worth raising with you guys. So.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that in terms of, just obviously when the tragic incident happened, obviously there was a lot of love shown towards him and a lot of great things came out about him and things of that nature. But like you say, it would be fitting if he was this year's or next year's Warrior Award inductee.
Yeah, and I saw another thing, Danny, as well, that I was looking at. I was quite interested by. Justin, have you seen Gore TV, Grown Ass Women TV that the ladies do?
Oh, yeah, because I have
SoCal and Victoria and Mickey James, because on the internet this week as well, obviously Drew McIntyre got a new sword on Raw, and SoCal Val had suggested that the sword should be called Lionheart, which I just thought was so fitting for, Adrian passing away last year. Yeah. And I just thought that was a great shout. So I've tried to share that on social media a little bit and get the ball rolling on that, because for him to call that sword Lionheart, for a shout back to ICW, I think that would be great and really pay some great respects there, and would make that sort of more special than him just randomly having a sword if it had like that name like that. So I thought that was great, and I think that'd be a good call. So it'd be nice if we could get that going viral online and get that picked up. I think that'd be great. So another good thing I spotted on the internet this week.
Yeah, no, definitely, and a great shout indeed from Val there. And I do hope they go with that. To be honest, that'd be a beautiful tribute for Lionheart there if they can incorporate that into, obviously with the name of that the sword. No, fantastic, brilliant.
One thing that I would be very upset if I didn't mention is we lost over in Maryland Championship Wrestling over in the East Coast this week, losing a courageous battle, is the bruiser, RJ Meyer. We lost him this week, and Maryland Championship Wrestling, MCW. I'm going to read this to make sure I get it right, but this Saturday, November 21st, 6 p.m. Eastern. So for you guys, that would be 11 p.m., but they're going to pay homage and tribute to the Bruiser on their Facebook Live, their Twitch, their YouTube. Maryland Championship Wrestling, consistently one of the best independent promotions out there, year in, year out. Kikoa spends a lot of time there. I know Kikoa is moving, but our hearts, our thoughts, our prayers go out to the family and friends and to everybody in the wrestling community for Bruiser RJ Meyer. And I know that even though you guys might not, because you're in the UK, but we're a community, we're a brotherhood. I know your hearts go out to RJ, so a good chance to pay tribute and homage to him. Man, 2020 sucks, doesn't it?
All part of the family, though, so it's good to pay respect. And I'll be intrigued to see that as well the weekend.
Yeah,
excellent.
Some other news tidbits that we've got as well. War Games returning on December 6th for NXT. That should be fantastic indeed. And of course, MLW, Major League Wrestling, returned with the restart last night. A lot of hype around that indeed, and it looks absolutely fantastic as well. So a great job, and a good look to all involved with MLW, keeping that growing and growing indeed. But before we sign off very shortly, Justin, what's the latest with the lockdown sessions?
Lockdown sessions. We had a great week this week. We started with the Patriot, Del Wilkes, of course, as I know him, the trooper in the AWA, Del Wilkes. So I don't even apologize for you guys when you watch it that I barely touch on WCW and WWF. It's all about the AWA. Trained with Fabulous Moolah. Wikipedia says he trained with Vern Gagne, but of course, Vern and Greg gave him a shot. We had a 2-part episode with Mr. Pectacular from OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling, and the star of Big Brother on CBS, Jesse Goddard. Now, if you haven't watched a lockdown session, if you're a wrestler, I found him very motivational. Of course, he's a natural bodybuilder, led to his getting cast on CBS's Big Brother, which led him to his ultimate dream of working in professional wrestling. Jesse and Robbie E were the bromans in Impact. TNA, of course, tag team champions twice. He's the current national heavyweight champion for Ohio Valley. But a great 2-part episode. I asked a little bit about Big Brother because I got to know about it. Sabotage is going to debut next week. He is going to be a 2-part episode because we're gonna film. The lockdown's funny, guys. Sometimes you get like a 1-word answer and it goes 10 minutes. I always try to go 20 minutes, but when you get in and start talking about the world of pro wrestling, and I feel like with Sabotage, I barely touched the surface. So also have been reaching out to a number of independent stars, some guys and girls that are on TV. The one thing this is behind the scenes. All right. I'll get people that will agree to do lockdowns, but they have trouble coming up with a day or a time. So I get a yes, and it's a lot of chasing. It's a lot of research. So if anybody's watching this right now, you can send me a direct message on Twitter at Clapper77. Let me know who you want me to interview. Let me know who, if you're a wrestler, if you want to be on the lockdown session is essentially an infomercial pushing your brand and your merch because people want to get to know. I've had Randy Hogan, awesome names, but I've had some people that people would be like, who? And they've got some of the most interesting stories to tell. So let's get on there. Let's do a lockdown. And if you don't want to do it, that's great. And if you are of the variety of, yeah, man, I'll be on your podcast, but I'm going to charge you $500 for 20 minutes. I'm probably not the interview for you.
No, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, we do have another lockdown session coming tonight, a UK edition. Maddog will know the chap very, very well. Cameron Solis appeared on TNT, Ignition, and beyond there. But he is our special guest this evening. You can find that on our YouTube. I believe 9 p.m. Local time will be the time.
He is an absolutely great up-and-coming talent in the UK. I've been lucky enough to work with him at TNT Ignition and also Wrestle Island, where he's had an absolute belter of a feud with Scott Oberman. You know, those guys have absolutely torn the house down on the world on numerous occasions. And yeah, really excited to give that a check out later. One last thing from me before I head off was John Scott from Powered 4 TV put out a really interesting comment there about Bill Apter. Will Bill Apter ever get inducted into the Hall of Fame? And yeah, I think it'd make sense for him to be involved. I was only talking to Bill this week because I purchased his book to read. I'm an avid reader of wrestling books, and Bill's was one of the ones I hadn't read. So I reached out to him to see if he had any copies of his book, and I managed to get a copy. So yeah, so I've just started reading that actually this week. So that was interesting to see that John would mention that in there. And yeah, I obviously think with the career that he's been through, I did start reading the book yesterday, and he mentions that he has been working with WWE Network and with Triple H quite closely in the first chapter. So hopefully that is something that can happen, and seems well deserved for sure. So yeah, that was just my last little thing I wanted to mention.
Also, a huge announcement. We're going to record next week part 2 with Maddog Mike Angus. I thought I'd announce it here. That way you have to commit to it.
That's it. I'll make more than happy to chat to you anytime, JC. You know that. And I've got plenty of stories to share, so
Awesome.
If anyone ever wants to chat about wrestling, just give me a shout, no problem at all. I've got all sorts of great tales to tell there. I've had a great time in the world of professional wrestling. Right up from when I was young as a fan, and continue to make memories to this day. And it's exciting times. Chatting to you guys in the States and being involved. Anyone who wants to reach out to me can do on social media. The Twitter's been going great. It's gone up about 100 more followers in the last week or so, which is great to see. And the Facebook is nearly at 1,000 followers now, which is brilliant. So make sure to check out my stuff on there. And if you want to see all my photos on Instagram, they're all there for people to see. I just shared one with Cameron Solas actually this week from a show in Wrestle Island last year. So there's all sorts on there. So make sure to check it out. And it has been an absolute honor, as always, being on the show with you guys today. Congratulations on 20 episodes. It was great to see all the guests we had today, and obviously Stu as well, popping his head in there was definitely a highlight for me. So I just want to say thank you. Thanks for having me involved, and congratulations, and keep doing what you're doing with Wrestling Travel. Obviously, the packages to go out to Japan and to go to America, and that's what it's all about as a wrestling fan. And you'd be stupid not to get involved with some of the offers you've got, especially the getting the package for 2022 now, and you can get it on the start paying monthly and everything. That's a great idea, and some way you can budget to making your dreams come true if you're a wrestling fan. So yeah, excellent, good stuff, and thank you very much again.
Thank you, Maddog.
Dog, as always. Indeed. But before we let you go, and just a few quick things that we want to mention. Of course, Wrestling Travel store on Wrestle Merch Central. You can buy some fantastic wrestling travel items such as t-shirts, hoodies, beanies, towels, pillows, mugs, all sorts of different branded wrestling travel merchandise. And that is at Wrestle Merch Central. With Christmas coming up, make sure you get yourself some fantastic stuff there. And also with Christmas coming up, make sure you check out Wrestling Trader for all your favorite action figures and memorabilia. They do have all the latest figures available from WWE and AEW, so make sure you check them out at Wrestling Trader and www.wrestlingtrader.co.uk. Justin, any final words?
I didn't know if my microphone picked that up, but something you guys probably don't get every day in the UK. You can hear gunshots just outside my my window here. So, but it is hunting season, so don't get all excited. I don't live in the a place where I'm worried about street crime. But no, please, I want to thank everybody that does listen and everybody that does share. Please watch, like, up. I probably just paused there, but please watch the lockdown sessions. Thank you for supporting the podcast. We have another guy I want to put over is our good friend Rich Baker at Style and Profile. He's a graphic designer. If you're a wrestler or if you're looking for graphic designs on anything, check out my lockdown session with Rich. Now, Rich is going to be mad because I owe him an email response and things have been crazy. So I got to reply to Rich. But Rich, if you watch the YouTube lockdown that I did with him, we just go over very basically if I'm a wrestler, if I have an idea for anything, just a t-shirt, we go step by step on how to contact a guy like Rich, and Rich will work with you and get you designed right. He's very reasonable. You don't have to be in the United Kingdom because we have this magic thing called the internet. But I want to put over Style and Profile, Rich Baker. I will email you. Please, if you get a chance to watch MCW's tribute this weekend to the Bruiser RJ Meyer, and man, it's crazy that we've reached 20 episodes. But Maddog, just as much as you thank us, we thank you because it wouldn't be as interesting with just me and Danny talking.
Which it was.
So thank you.
You do a great job, guys. It's good to see.
Yeah, no, thank you, Maddog. And of course, thank you, Stuie. Thank you, SP3. Thank you, Franco Varga, Garrisaon Creed, Vince Valor, and Sabotage for joining us. And the party is starting at the Maddog's house right now. Unfortunately, we can't go around due to lockdown restrictions, but we'll party with him right here indeed. But thank you very much as always. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you again next Thursday.